Life is full of choices, so let's explore the best ways to thrive. This is a Connecting You podcast, hosted by me, Mayra Richards, and my marketing director, Emily Robinson. Tune in to discover a healed, healthy, and purposeful life. Welcome back to the Connecting You podcast. This is episode 5 for the single and dating. I wanted to talk about waiting and how to do it. I am passionate about this topic. A lot of times I have learned to wait really well in life for bigger things, and thought it would be good for if you're in any season of waiting.
I think my perspective on waiting for a relationship changed probably in like January. I've talked to my friends about this. They don't understand it. I got this conviction that the man I'm going to marry is out there. He exists and he's going to find me at some point. Once I just decided that and let it go, it's like, you know what, whatever, it's coming. I don't even consider myself like waiting. I'm just living.
But you would be waiting.
But I'm not focused on it. Once I got that conviction, I stepped into a season like, okay, now I'm not going to date anybody because I have these other things to worry about and these other goals to pursue.
I think because something in you said, this is coming. This is coming anyway. And so you're trusting that it's coming.
I think that's a big part of what I wanted to talk about, waiting. Because there's a difference between other people who don't seem to wait at all between relationships. If they couldn't find somebody, they're like, well, when is it going to happen? Is this ever going to happen? I know people who gave up fully at the age of 60 that they're ever going to find anybody else ever again. So they weren't waiting. Then now their whole perspective changed, and in a sense they are waiting again for the one. You can pause waiting or you can give up waiting, but it is probably going to be part of your life. Like, how can we do that productively?
So I like that you brought that up, because a few people get like a word from the Lord, whether you're waiting for a spouse or for a baby, that this thing is going to come to be. Biblically, it shows over and over again that the Lord tells them, like with Sarah, you will become a mother to Abraham. And it's funny because she laughs. Yeah, that we're old. Like this. And then
that would be strange to hear.
Over and over in the Bible, it shows how God tells them. And then people have to wait. David had to wait to be king. And then there are times where you don't hear anything, where you don't have that conviction, when you don't hear anything and you're just hanging on to hope. But it also biblically says, like, the Lord will give you the desires of your heart. And so that is also not wrong to just hold on to your own hope and be like, this is something that I really want. Because a lot of times I think of my kids, with Leona, when she wants a popsicle at like 10 p.m. And I'm like, listen, girl, we cannot have one today, but we'll have one tomorrow. And it's not about being mean. But there is a timing for this. Like I said with Gavin, like there was a timing where things wouldn't have worked out.
Between you and Gavin?
And there was a timing where things worked out. And so it reminds me of that popsicle story. Hey, you just waited one more day. Right now, she has swimmer's ear. And I'm like, you can't swim. Like, it will hurt. But she also wants to do what she wants.
Yeah.
And as a good mom, I'm going to have to fight those battles. I want to remind you, when you're fighting those battles with the Lord, and when you're asking him every day, she's probably going to ask me to go swimming.
Yeah.
And every day I'm going to have to say no. And sometimes that feels very cruel. And yet I'm doing that as being a good mom. So I can't even imagine when it comes to the good father that God is, that he tells us no because he knows what's best for us. Now, this comes really tricky when you want to wait for a baby or you want to wait for a spouse, because you're thinking, how in the heck is that not the best for me?
Yeah.
Because those are good things. It's not like I'm waiting for a Cadillac, Lord.
I am.
Give it to Emily. I'm waiting for this person, for us to do ministry together. If you have dreams of doing ministry with your husband, for us to do all these things together, it becomes a little bit gray in that aspect. But you have to know he's a good dad. As much as we settle for things, he's not going to settle. He's not. In the times biblically that people have asked, I can't remember his name, but the Lord was finally like, okay, you can have it. And he was like, hey, listen, you knocked and you knocked and you
asked for.
You got what you asked for. Like, what do you want me to do?
Patience has a lot of intuition behind it. As I said, the conviction that I had, well, even though I gave up the worrying or the concern about when it's going to happen, there still have been times since then in the past several months where I'm like, people have asked me on dates and I'm like, no, but it's a struggle to be alone. But I
Sure.
know that it's not them, and I know that it's not going to be productive for me to say yes to them. And so there's a lot of intuition in your patience. You have to know what you're being patient for. You have to stick by it as well and not abandon being patient.
Many ways to wait. There's so
Really.
many ways, even like you are controlling your weight in a sense, because people are coming to you and you're saying no. I heard this quote of patience is the posture of the heart while you wait. That's what patience means. And that is what waiting well looks like, is to be patient in the waiting, which
Mm.
includes being hopeful. It doesn't mean that you can't have moments of hopelessness or discouragement. Yeah, it's like, awake my soul, O Lord, arise, wake me up to your hope again, that there are plans that you have set for my life that are good, and eventually they will happen. And even if they don't, because we never know, like you could remain single forever. Even if he doesn't, he's still good. Being patient is having this relationship with God, which saying, my hope is not in you. It's not in what you can give me, but my hope is that you will sustain me and joy will come,
Yes.
regardless of whether I get what I want or not.
What we've been saying ties into this in terms of what am I really waiting for? Because in my situation, if I'm just waiting for a boyfriend,
Right.
people have presented themselves to me, but they're not who I'm waiting for. So I
Right.
have to remain steadfast in my waiting and own being single and own that that's just not the month for it yet. Like it's not the year for it.
So practically being single and asking, what am I asking you for, God? What am I asking you when I'm asking you for a baby, when I'm asking you for a husband? Like, what is it that I want underneath it all, that I think that the only way to get it is through these means? And some things are very valid. Like, I want to be a mom. I want to be a wife. I want to have companionship. That doesn't mean that you can't be those things when you don't have maybe a wife. You can't be a wife, but you can be a mom of many without being
Yeah.
biologically a mom. What is it that you deeply want in your heart, that you're ready to give so much, that you're wanting that thing so much? I would ask myself that.
And then waiting when things come across that aren't going to give you that.
Yes. I always say, hey, focus on the yes.
And
Focus on what you're saying no to. If you focus on, I just keep saying no to this. I just keep rejecting, and I could have a boyfriend, but I just keep saying no. So if you tell an alcoholic not to drink, he will drink. You tell him to stay sober, the likelihood of that person staying sober is higher, because cognitively you've changed their thoughts and you're
Yeah.
telling them that they can do it. So the same thing goes with this. You're saying yes to waiting, but you're also saying yes to, hey, I'm waiting for a person who's kind and humble and loves the Lord. In your case, it was like, I'm saying no to these people because I'm waiting for that yes that I know is going to come later,
Yeah.
and that I know it's going to find me.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful to be able to come to that person one day and say, hey, I had to say a lot of no's, but I'm so thankful because I get to say yes to you.
That's impactful.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting journey since I've thought that. And my friend, we were talking about it last month. And she's like, but what if that doesn't happen? I was like, that's not a thought that I have. I just don't feel that way.
Because maybe it doesn't happen exactly the way that you want it to be, meaning he comes to your door. It's maybe in 10 years you end up getting on Hinge and that's how you find each other. Maybe it means that,
Yeah.
but it's a different way that you expect it to mean. How is not your concern as much as it's going to happen, how it's supposed to happen. God, show me my next steps.
And what does that practically look like? Say that I'm somebody who I feel that I've done the work on myself. I feel that I have like worked through everything that we've talked about, the wounds and the patience and getting to know myself, like knowing what I want, but it just doesn't happen. Like, how do I own the waiting or keep the faith or maintain the feeling that I'm not doing something wrong?
Well, that digs deep into other stuff of what makes you think that you're the broken one, that you're the failure, that you're the one that's doing something wrong simply because something hasn't happened, right? That's like saying, like, when she wants a lollipop and I don't give it to her right away because she's not good. That's not true. That's a lie. And so why do I think that? Diving deep into that and figuring out, why do you necessarily start thinking that something has to do with you when you're having to wait for something? Because it doesn't.
We said patience is the posture of the heart while you wait. How do we have good posture?
So there's this verse that I like, and that it will be the one for this season. I will wait for the Lord, my whole being waits. Your whole being. So with everything that you have, remain hopeful and continue to be patient with hope. So I will wait for the Lord, my whole being waits. So with everything that you have, with your thoughts, especially with your thoughts, because this is my whole being. So with your thoughts, with your soul, with your spirit, with your emotions, you wait. You change those negative conditions. You don't allow your feelings to dictate what's in your life, which, when you're seeing everybody else get married, you don't allow that discouragement to turn into hopelessness and say, well, you're not going to get what you want.
Yeah, like a bitterness.
Yes, you start saying, no, soul, you are downcasted, but there is hope for me still. So your whole body needs to weigh. And in his word, I put my hope, which means in his word, you need to remain hopeful that he is a good dad, that you will get what you want, not out of I want to get what I want, but out of if he doesn't give you exactly what you want, you will always give you more than what you want and better than you've ever wanted. It says, I will wait for the Lord more than watchmen wait for the morning, more than watchmen wait for the morning. When you think of watchmen, they're always expecting it. And I think I clinged so hard to this. And that's why I said, I never not expected it. Because I was like, I am a watchman and I am expecting it. And yes, I would go on dates, and yes, I would feel discouraged. And even with our girls, it hasn't taken very long, but it has taken a number of months to get pregnant. Every time I would be so excited to find out. Every time that there was a no, I would grieve it. But then I was like, but morning's still coming. I will watch for the sun to rise. I cannot stay in this dark place. I will lift up my soul to the Lord and say, there is hope in you.
I think the most telling thing about that whole phrase, what I heard, was that they're waiting for the morning. It's like they're not waiting for the night. I feel like if you're waiting to see who's going to reject you or who's going to turn you down or who's going to be a no, it's totally different from waiting to see who's going to be a yes. Are you sitting thinking like nighttime is going to come, or are you sitting thinking that morning is going to come? Because that changes your whole outlook, and then your whole outlook is going to change how you act and how you go through the world of dating and how you go through this season.
Like focus on the yes, focus on that morning, focus like morning's coming. If you start focusing on the night, on what's surrounding you in the moment, you will get caught up in that. And then when something actually comes, you won't be able to watch the sunrise. You'll be so focused on the fact that your eyes will be closed. You'll be so tired. Focus on what you've heard God say about your life. If it's not what you want, he will give you more than what you want and more than what you need. I really do believe that.
The sad part about this rejection or hopelessness or the waiting of trying is when we allow it to form a sort of shell around us, or we allow it to harden our hearts, our expectations, and it creates a bitterness or general sense, oh, this is never going to happen for me. That can turn really quickly into something negative, like hopeless.
What if this watchman is letting his feelings that morning's never going to come? You're letting it dictate what's going to happen. And that's not true. Your feelings are there to tell you, hey, something's off, or hey, you're sad about something, or you're hurting about something, but they're not there to tell you the future.
We often let it become one or like mixed together. Like we think that how we feel is how it has to be.
Right. And that's not true. You can feel discouraged and then do something different. You get on that Hinge again.
Did you have a good experience with Hinge?
That's the only app that I hear from people, and I should sponsor. There was this question like, how do I maintain feeling valued and worthy while everyone else is in a relationship? Again, you don't let everybody else's story dictate who you are. You don't let a spouse dictate your identity. You don't let somebody else's story dictate your identity. So that sense of maintaining feeling value and worth needs to have already been there. And if it's not there because other people are getting some stuff, then I would go back and process that with your counselor of, well, why do I feel my identity is wrapped up on other stuff that people are getting?
So it's like a societal form of codependence. Codependent on not like one person, but just everybody.
And then if you know your yes is coming, then why worry? And I think it's again because we compare, right? Like right now it's been January, so you're like, okay, well maybe I'm doing good. But then let's say you have to wait 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. That's going to get harder. But that's also because you're comparing yourself to people. They've already gotten this or they already have this. And so you narrow your focus to your path in your life and what that needs to look like. You don't look anywhere else. And that's hard, especially with the internet, with social media. but you gotta narrow it and be like, that is not my path.
If that was meant to be every single thing that you wanted, like that would be your life. Like there's
Yes.
reasons that you're not marrying that guy that she's marrying. You wouldn't
Yes.
exactly want what she's doing.
I can go through every single person that I ever wanted to date or marry or whatever and say, thank you, Lord, for it not being him. Even today, I received a text, funny enough, in a group text with 2 girlfriends, and they showed me this thing that a long time ago, I think we all had a crush on this person because we were doing ministry together, like what he's up to now. And we were all like, thank the Lord.
But
None of us
nobody
dated him. Nobody's married him. He married his person. I would never
Want that life.
want that life. But I can look back and be like, yes, it's a little bit harder, but just trust people like me, people who have waited, to say, you will look back and say, that makes sense. You will say, I'm so thankful I waited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so thankful. And I liked other good guys, but I'm so thankful I waited for him.
We're really gassing up Gavin.
The Lord had really given me abundantly more than I had asked for. I had gone through 2 traumatic relationships. Then I was single for a while. My standards were pretty much be nice to me, don't drink, be direct. But they were also high in the sense of I wanted him to know the Lord. I remember praying one time and I was like, okay, Lord. And I know that this is wrong, but usually white boys don't like to dance. I am okay with giving that up.
You mean I'm dancing?
I was like, that's fine, Lord. I don't have to dance. And then he loves to dance. And it was just such a gift to be like, look, you care of what I care about. And he's not, I would never give Leona
a compromise.
Yeah. I would never do that. And I'm human and I sin every day. Why would a God of the universe do that? He wouldn't.
I have a hot seat bonus question then.
Okay.
Because you're one of the people who waited and I'm waiting. So how do you know when you're done waiting? Did you know?
You'll know.
Like, what does that mean?
It felt refreshing. It was time. I don't know how to explain it. It was like I met him and I just knew. My heart literally jumped when I met him. And then I remember being like, man, I'm never going to see him again. There was this sense of discouragement. And then I was like, you know what, Lord, I trust you. It doesn't matter. And then we went on a date like a week or 2 later after that because he found me on Facebook. I knew because he was what I wanted. He was funny. I laughed a lot. This is something that I prayed for a lot. I was like, I just want to be able to laugh.
Yeah.
You know,
after all this.
my job is pretty, I just want to be able to laugh. We laughed a lot. I just knew. I'm also a feeler. So I also want to say this. I am a big feeler. So a gut feeling will be what I get. If you are a thinker, then practically you'll know if it checks your boxes. If you're a thinker, never expect to feel when a person comes, because that's just not going to happen. It just can't. Like, you're a thinker. That's how you're wired.
Love at first sight. It's not going to happen.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, you're a deep thinker. Nothing in your life has ever gone by you getting a feeling. Why do you expect this to go that way? I'm a feeler. I get gut feelings to make decisions. It has been my history. I know myself well enough to know that. And so you will know. So it depends on
Who you are.
I hope that's helpful if you're waiting, and I will definitely be praying.
The Bible verse for this season is Psalm 130, 5-6. I wait for the Lord, my whole being waits, and in his word I put my hope. I wait for the Lord, more than watchmen wait for the morning. More than watchmen wait for the morning. Jesus, we thank you that you are a God of hope. You're a God of joy. And I pray that in this season of people who are dating and single and hoping, Lord, in this season of waiting, that you will come so near to every single one of your children, that you would renew hope, that you will renew their minds into putting their hope in your word and in you, Lord. God, I pray for people to find their person, for people to find joy in being single, Lord, whatever it is that you have for their lives. We know that you are a good dad who cares for your children, and you will give them more than enough, more than what they ask for, Lord, because that is the heart of a father. So, Lord, thank you for loving us, for taking care of us, and we will wait. We will wait for you. In Jesus' name, I pray.
As we wrap up today's episode, we are grateful you join us to explore what it means to remain connected to God, to yourself, and to others. To stay updated on future episodes, be sure to hit that subscribe button and connect with us on Instagram and Facebook at Remain Connected.
Counseling appointments can be made at remainconnectedllc.com. Your support means the world to us. Until next time, may you find peace in your connections and blessings in every step of your journey. Have a blessed day.